Tractate in Yaakov, Tractate Nedarim, dealing with vows, and the title today is Pronouncing God's Name in Vain. Rabbi Chanin said in the name. Rabbi Chanin said in Rav's name, if someone hears his neighbor utter God's name in vain, he must place him under a ban.
Oh, wow.
And if he does not, he himself deserves to be placed under a ban. Because wherever God's name is mentioned freely, without restraint, poverty will prevail.
Wow.
And poverty is equated with death. For it says, while Moses was still in Midian, God said to him, go return to Egypt. All the men who seek your life have died. Those who wanted to kill you died. Referring to Dasan Vaviu.
No, they were not. No. Because they reappear, even at the time of when they died, is when Korach was there, because they still supporting
Right, but hear the whole thing. It'll answer your question.
Okay.
So, Dasan Vaviu. So it says all the men who seek your life have died. This refers to Moshe's arch enemies, Dasan and Aviram, who later took part in Korach's rebellion.
Exactly.
So they did not actually die, but they had become poor.
Okay.
So God assured Moshe that they could not harm him, since being poor, they were as if dead, completely without influence. That's what it means. And nobody would listen to their incitement. And when we learned in a Brisa, wherever the sages placed their eyes in a stern way to punish, death or poverty followed. Somebody upset the rabbis, talking about the rabbis of those days, and they gave you a stern look, or meaning they wanted to punish you, and that's usually what would come along. So Rabbi Abba said, I was standing before Rav Huna when he heard a woman pronounce God's name in vain. So he placed her under a ban, but he immediately lifted the ban in her presence. We can learn from this three things. First, if a person hears someone utters God's name in vain, he is obligated to put him under a ban. Number two, if someone was placed under a ban and he was there, the ban must be lifted in that person's presence. To have that guy that put him under a ban, he has to be present there. And number three, the ban must be lifted in that person's. Number three, no time needs to pass between the placing of the ban and its annulment, if the person repented. That's from the Rambam.
But what's the ban?
It's excommunication. You can't be. No one is allowed to talk to you. No one is allowed to be associated with you. It basically kills the person. Yeah. No, he's not in quarantine.
It's like putting somebody in quarantine. In other words,
he still lives in his house, but no one is allowed to associate himself. Excommunication. So in this case, it could be right after, right. Soon as. I think it's just to wake him up.
Yeah. So you reach the ban right away.
Yeah. So Rav Gidel said in the name of Rav. From where do we know that a person can take an oath to fulfill a mitzvah, and we are not afraid that he will break the oath if he fails to do the mitzvah? For it says, I have sworn and I will fulfill to keep your righteous ordinances. The Gemara asks, but aren't we all bound by the oath at Mount Sinai to keep all the mitzvahs? And you cannot take an oath to do something that you already swore to do so. So you're doing it twice, you already swore. Mechuyav oimed, you're already obligated.
We say chukim. We say chukim.
Meaning in Mount Sinai, you already took an oath. Every Jew already took an oath to do the mitzvah. So you taking an oath to do the mitzvah again, what's the point of it?
Right.
What Rav Gidel meant to say is that if a person is allowed to take an oath in order to spur himself to do mitzvahs, and this is not considered uttering God's name in vain. Even though he's obligated, but he wants to get himself more obligated, spur himself, then he's allowed to do it according to Rav Gidel.
For instance, Nazirah, for instance.
Yeah. Rav Gidel also said in the name of Rav, if someone says to his neighbor, let's get up early and study this chapter, the one that suggested it has to get up first. For it says, Ezekiel said, God said to me, arise and go out to the valley, and there I will speak with you. So I arose and went out to the valley, and behold, the glory of God was standing there. God suggested it, and he was there before Ezekiel. So you tell somebody, like a lion wakes up in the morning, so yes, you have to wake up first.
Now, as you said in poorness and death, we have the story.